in Cambridge to discuss the implications of the EU referendum results with MPs, MEPs, councillors and other politicians. I think we all know that there's a huge amount of concern in the local community and beyond about the impact that the referendum might have, both social and economic. And I think people need to have an opportunity to ask some questions and maybe resolve some of those uncertainties. And I think there's a couple of issues which are particularly urgent. One is the huge uncertainty regarding the position of EU citizens from other countries in the UK at the moment, and that's not just very worrying for the individuals concerned and their families, but also for a lot of businesses and other organisations that employ them. And I think we need to remember that these EU citizens did not have the right to vote in this referendum, even though the people most directly implicated by the results, and that there is a danger that they will be used as bargaining chips in the coming negotiations. So I think, given also the increase in racist attacks and the degree to which it's given licence, the fact that people would be here, people say things like pack your bags, will be on your way soon, etc. The government needs to send out a very clear signal that these EU citizens are welcome and that we will not tolerate racism, and the best way to do that would be to recognise their status as these EU citizens and give them the right to remain immediately. The other question is concerning the grave uncertainty concerning the ability of UK citizens to take part in EU academic and research programmes. There's already been evidence from Scientists for EU and other groups who have seen that the UK researchers have been essentially frozen out of grant applications to take part in European collaborations. This isn't just about money. Although there is good question over whether there will be sufficient research funding made available to cover the loss of EU funding, it's also the case that one of the great advantages of boons for UK research has been the ability to take part in and even lead research collaborations in the EU. And there's a danger that great scientists will leave the UK if they cannot continue to do so. So this is another issue which must be addressed and must be satisfactorily as soon as possible. I think for these reasons and many others, it is important to have a public meeting in Cambridge where the citizens can actually discuss these issues with their elected representatives and other politicians. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, Mr. Brown, for your question. I don't disagree with the word that you said. The referendum that occurred on the 23rd of June will have long-term impacts as well as you've raised short-term ones. I won't go into the whole of the issue. We're going to be debating the issue of particularly on the EU citizens and their rights, and also the issue of hate crime later in the meeting. The council helped with the organisation and the support of the event that took place. I call it the umbrella event because there's a lot of them in front of the Guildhall, and that clearly represented such strong opinion. I know that some 2,000 people have written to Danny Zeitler as our MP, either by email or letter. We have to take account of the fact that there are people in the city that didn't feel that the EU or that was the right decision. And I think we also have to take account of the reality of who's running the country and how best to work with them. In terms of the substance, I've spent much of my time since the referendum working with other organisations in the city, working with both MPs, several meetings, a particular urgent focus on the issue you raised, because 9,000 of our residents, our people, effectively made a contract with this country when they agreed to come and live here, many of them of whom were also married, or whether to other EU citizens here or to UK citizens, and they made their home here. So the conclusion is that I agree with your request. It has already been requested also by Daniel Zeitler as our MP, and whilst other people have talked to me about, well, can we organise another march, I think an indoor rational discussion is the right route. So we've looked at the availability of the small hall in this building. I don't know how we organise an event in terms of making sure it's balanced. I would personally to propose and seek a well-chaired event which has some balanced contributions and is actually looking to the future. I appreciate that there's a huge amount of despair amongst some people, but we have to focus on, well, what is it that we need to do? And that, as you said, the most immediate issue is the position of 9,000 claimant citizens. So I give you a commitment that we will investigate organising a meeting in the Guildhall, and that we will be open. Obviously, it's a question of how many people want to come, but we will organise it in a large venue, and we will invite people to come along. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I just wondering, I forgot to mention timescale. I think really given the very fast pace of things that are going on in the country here and in Cambridge, if it could be arranged within the next month, I think that would be very useful.
Well, we've investigated dates,